The mission of TTS has withstood the test of time. The mission of TTS remains the same as it was at the beginning, and that is to act, to be the principal and supreme forum for the advancement of basic and clinical transplantation sciences. Now, what has kept it the same has been really the members. The membership has great and passionate commitment and dedication to the field of transplantation and particularly to the patients. So that, in essence, is the strength of the society. But also, to be considered, I think we go back to the principal issue in transplantation, that gap between the waiting list patients and the number of organ available for donors available for transplantation. And what we need to do is, with our focus on that gap, we need to encourage the research in xenotransplantation, in regenerative medicine, and also continue to pursue our immunologic investigations so as to perhaps develop the possibility of tolerance on the clinical setting. There are other things that we must take a part in. Public education, we hear about that, but there isn't the awareness of the need for organ donation. It is not universal. And there are ways one can deal with this. For example, the tobacco ads, the public service announcements. That doesn't cost anybody money. And the government could help us out also through the Division of Transplantation. But some public service announcements, regularly spaced, would keep this front and center. And that's what we need to do. In our attempt, in our desire and commitment to help other countries with lesser resources develop their programs, we need to help them with workshops, webinars. We have to back them up. We can't just come join us. If they join us, they expect to someday develop their programs and be physicians in their programs. So we need to help them with that. I believe those are probably the most important. Well, I come down to steroid-free protocols. I mean, it seems that's nothing fancy. But steroids were introduced in '58 by Willard Goodwin, and they've been a mainstay. It's been a religion in transplantation. There have been a number of attempts to withdraw steroids, and they generally fail with loss of graft. Well, what you want is an endless supply of kidneys, of organs. if we can get that, I think we've come a long ways. It's the getting there that's the issue. I think important right now are the clinical protocols on tolerance induction. Important is the research in xenotransplantation. And who knows what regenerative medicine is going to be able to do. I don't think, for example, take the kidney, you may be able to duplicate kidney cells, but what about the drainage system? That is not going to happen. Well, I'm not a negative person. And I think xenotransplantation, regenerative medicine, and seeking the quest for tolerance, they may not all succeed, but I hate to put any one of them down because I think they all have the potential. I think there's 4 people. Tom Starzl, Fred Belzer, Samuel Kuntz, Felix Rappaport. I think someone in transplantation is as complete a physician as you can be. You're taking care of a patient that can have many complications, and if you put the complications aside, needs to be monitored. You are a very skilled physician. You have to be a very skilled physician. You have to know a lot. And if you're that type of person that wants challenges and wants to help humanity, there's no better field than transplantation. Felix Rappaport, I don't know what you can say. 34 years on the council. I was 24 years on the council, and that was a lot. But 34 years on the council. But he was not just on the council, he was active in everything. Just with the formation of the society, meetings were being held to review and present papers on those early investigative efforts in immunology, transplant immunology. He had everything relating to those meetings. Now I'm showing you a book for the 7th International Transplantation Conference under the auspices of the New York Academy of Sciences. And this is what Felix was putting together at that time and what he continued to put together in subsequent years. This was the meeting where the Transplantation Society was formed. And in this book, it's in 1966, in this book, we have even the constitution of the new organization of TTS. Felix was also a consultant, and that's not the right word to use, because he was more than a consultant to all the presidents. If you had a question that you couldn't figure out or needed some advice, there was Felix. I think we all will miss him greatly. I was at his home a couple times, and He had a beautiful family, and he really cared for people.